Thank you, everyone. My name is Amalik Bijral, as I was introduced. I'm the CEO of Chai Point. We are a Bangalore-based brand. We have presence in 4-5 cities now, and we are also coming to Mumbai, starting tomorrow, in fact. It's a pleasure to be a part of this panel. Honestly, I'm quite excited. All these are luminary brands which have been around much, much before we ever started. So, of course, Parag Desai from Wagh Bakri, a brand which started in 1892. I was talking to Sumit and Madyanti, again, one of the largest brands in India. They've been around since 1942, 45, right? Early 40s. And then, of course, I have my fellow Bangalorean, Kaushal. We don't end up meeting in Bangalore, but we definitely catch up. And Kaushal is, of course, from TBox, completely online, very global, very contemporary business. So before I really kind of went on with my task as a moderator, I just wanted to set the stage with 2 or 3 slides which kind of give you a glimpse as to what this panel discussion is all going to be about, right? So I have 3 slides really, just to give you a sense of the landscape of tea or chai in India right now, from an end consumer perspective, right? So this is just to kind of give you a sense as to how tea is perceived in India right now, as far as the end consumer is concerned. What is important is the last mile access points for tea. You know, any perception around tea as a category is driven fundamentally in India by its last mile access places. And this is what really I just want to show it briefly in these next 2-3 slides. So, you know, as you move from the roadside tapparies or shops onto the exotic bars, in India, tea is primarily, you know, centered around the roadside tapparies or the roadside stalls. Hence, the perception of tea is driven by that huge weighted mass. While as on the coffee side, it starts on the other end. This is not a debate about tea or coffee, but I just want to kind of set the stage by giving you some sense on the discussion and how it's going to proceed, right? So 2 ends of the continuum, right? Roadside, small shanties, tea, sophisticated places, coffee, right? And this is kind of the heat map around customer perception based on this continuum. And then I have got 2 visuals to kind of reinforce the point. If you look at the left side, right, the source of origin of tea and the various ingredients that go into making, let's say, a masala chai or different types of chai is very, very rich. The source of origin imagery is very rich, right? Tea gardens, spices, and so on. But gradually, as you come to the last mile access, it sort of becomes very unglamorous, right? It becomes very, very casual, very, very, again, you know, kind of aligns with the first slide. While as on the coffee, the source of origin, again, look at the left side, is not grand at all. I mean, we talk about all the coffee producing countries. They are essentially, you know, poor countries out of Africa or some parts of Brazil, which, you know, because of an NGO-ish kind of a stand, have gotten talking points in the Western world. Otherwise, the imagery around coffee is not very strong. But as you move along and go towards the last mile access, the imagery of coffee becomes very rich. You know, there is a role of media that's coming in, glossy cafes, Italian names, cups and saucers. It suddenly becomes very, very different. So the topic really is to talk about, this is really a makeover session, kind of a makeover planning session for tea, if I may, right? India's demographic primarily is very young. Average age is around 27. Everybody is very aspirational. Everybody wants to go for brands which they feel they can aspire to, or even categories that they can aspire to. And now you reflect on the continuum and sort of the imagery, especially around the last mile access points, there is a bit of a challenge. But we are seeing huge growth, right? I mean, I'm in this industry for the last 4 years, and we are very, very excited about it. So considering the mix of people that we have today, you know, Sumit, and, you know, from Madyanti, and, you know, Wagh Bakri, of course, Parag, and, you know, Kaushal, from various standpoints of what they're doing, I think we can have a very interactive discussion on this makeover plan for tea as a beverage category. So I'll just take a seat and possibly just drive the discussion from there. But Kaushal, I think we'll start with you. right? Um, a very global contemporary business. Why don't you give a flavor of what you're really trying to do? And how in your line of business, you're trying to make sure that this product category is seen in a very contemporary and upmarket kind of fashion, and hence aspirational.
So just to give you, everyone an idea what TBox is, we are 100% online. We are India's first vertically integrated tea brand. And we focus on complete loose leaf tea category. So loose leaf is very different from the liquid chai, which most Indians grow up on. Now, what we are seeing in terms of growth and excitement in India is we're seeing a lot of Indians who are well exposed to overseas travel, who have a taste for better things in life because they have been traveling overseas, they move in those kind of circles. They are moving towards the kind of finer teas, which perhaps till now they never had access to. Because India had always exported some of the best teas overseas. But through brands like us, brands like which is completely online, 100% ease of access, sitting in a computer through TBox.com, they get access to some of the best teas. We don't make or we don't deal in any flavors. We are pure raw teas as it is direct from some of the best plantations in Darjeeling, Assam, Nilgiris, Kangra, northeastern part of India. And these teas have their own uniqueness and flavor. Interestingly, we don't target the younger crowd. We are targeting the so-called, what we call the new age Indian, who has that upward mobility, who has that disposable income, who more importantly has that kind of taste which they have been exposed to when they travel overseas. These guys are willing to spend that kind of money because our teas sell anywhere from say approximately 10,000 rupees a kilo to 1.5 lakhs rupees a kilo. So there are enough buyers in India also for that kind of teas. So from our perspective, we see growth coming from the upper age spectrum of the market, not necessarily the younger side. And what we are doing is we are making tea, we are giving it a makeover from a contemporary perspective. We are bringing a unique sense of design, unique sense of packaging. We are bringing a unique sense of experience, storytelling, which existed with tea mostly outside India, mostly in US, Europe, and the Western European and Australian markets. Whereas those kind of same stories now we are telling to our consumers, because essentially tea is a beverage where at the end of the day, once they have the beverage, they do want to feel connected to where the beverage is coming from, what are the interesting stories behind that. So very different takes from some of the other panelists out there, but in our way we have discovered that a good tea at the end of the day is pure single estate tea, and providing ease of access through online has become a big thing for us even when we look at growth in India.
Thank you, thank you. So Parag, Wagh Bakri, an iconic brand, been around since 1892. I just couldn't get over that number. What is your approach in connecting to the aspirational youth and to the large demographic in India which has the disposable income? How are you planning to make sure that that demographic takes on to tea, specifically from Wagh Bakri?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Good question. I don't know how India has suddenly become a youthful country. We saw it as a youthful country ever since we started before independence. We were the first company, just to take you a little bit back in time.
Please, please.
We were the first company to enter into packaged tea. There was a time in India, people used to buy only loose commodities. And nearer to 1980, we were the first company to enter into packaged tea. We were one of the first companies to mass market in India the concept of tea bags. And we were one of the first companies to take a stand versus all the cafes prevailing in India and start the concept of tea lounges. Before that, we were one of the first companies to start online selling of teas. So now we are in our 18th or 19th year with buytea.com, and we cater to anyone and everyone in the world. I have fond memories of coming to Mumbai, having meetings with the people at the RBI as to how to accept credit card payments. Because in those days, I remember people hardly used to use credit cards. And to accept credit card payments from overseas, it means you are getting into so many violations. and the money used to come to you after a month of people being, charged for it. So from those days to today, when you have apps for everything, and today's youth now is again changing. People have less of patience. People want more of value in terms of quality, in terms of service. People. There was a time people used to drink 70% tea in the morning and 30% in the afternoon. Now I don't know when they don't want to have teas. It's tea drinking has become like wine to eating. So many people complete their food with a cup of tea. So many people go out with friends, and they come to our lounges, etc. So we have to constantly innovate. Out of the 10 things that we do, 4 or 5 fail, but 4 or 5 that work, the world knows about it. We now just finished a research in 22 cities of India, and what was known but not known from a research point of view, we learned, is that now on every table there are 6 or 7 types of different teas which people want to consume by choice. There was a time 5 years back wherein the housewife or the mother or the wife bought a single packet of tea and only she knew which brand of tea, and everyone consumed that tea. So times are changing. Green teas is a big hit. Iced teas is going to be a bigger hit. So constant innovation, I think, is something that we are very proud of, and that's what helps us in catering to the ever-changing needs of the Indian consumers.
Thank you so much. And Sumit, why don't you also give a brief, background about, Madyanti, and especially your new brands, and also how you're trying to differentiate and connect with the crowd.
Thanks, Amlik. For people who don't know what Madyanti is, I'll give a quick background. We're one of India's largest exporters of value-added teas. And about a year and a half ago, we started a journey of building a brand in India. And the idea was exactly what we're trying to address here, is how do we make tea more meaningful for the youth today. We had a 3-prong approach to do that. So the first thing we try to understand is, what are the youths doing today? And something that was very evident was everybody is trying to be more healthy, trying to eat better food, trying to eat functional foods or beverages that provide some sort of a functional or a health benefit to them. And this is very evident by the fact that the wellness food industry is hitting about 1 lakh crores this year, growing at about 15% year on year. So clearly, the youth of India wants to be healthy and wants to consume products or beverages that are healthier. So that's the one thing we try to address. The second thing that is not addressed so much at the context of tea in India is that tea is actually a very versatile drink, right? So if you look at black tea, it has a shot of caffeine which wakes you up, energizes you during the day. Similarly, green tea, it has antioxidants, so it purifies you, it has cleansing properties. If you look at chamomile tea, it's supposed to be a mild sleep inducer. So it calms you down, it unwinds you, helps you relax at the end of the day. No one in India has really addressed this versatility or this versatile property of what we call tea. For most of us, tea is just a milk sugar concoction that we drink 3 times a day. But if someone can actually bring this versatility out, it can help people understand the benefits of tea, bring more tea consumption moments. So what we did is blend these 2 trends together. So the health benefits that the youth in India is really looking forward for, along with the versatility of tea, and we created a range called Tiame, which was out there in the market for about a little over a year now. And the idea is that we are constantly propagating the wellness, the health benefits, the functional benefits that tea does. So for example, our chamomile is actually called unwind and not chamomile, because that's what chamomile helps you do. It helps you unwind at the end of the day. Our tulsi tea is what we call restore. It's got restorative properties. Tulsi is really known through ages to help your body restore through a lot of chemicals, etc., that you might have consumed. Our Assam tea is actually called energize, because that's what the tea is supposed to do to you. It's supposed to energize you when you're feeling sleepy or you're feeling drowsy in the afternoon. You're going to have a shot of Assam tea and energize. And that's what we've really tried to do. We've tried to repositioning tea as not just tea. We're trying to break that cutter and say it's not about drinking tea. It's about drinking a beverage that has a certain functional benefit to you. And you can now go and find different consumption moments throughout the day, depending on what you want at that period of time. That's essentially what we've done so far. The other thing now, being in the market for about a year and a half, the very interesting thing we started to see now is the youth in India is very experimental, especially people who are entering into the value-added, higher-end tea category. And you would definitely know this, well, maybe not so much in India, but globally we also see they're very experimental. They're willing to experiment with new flavors, new choices, new varieties. So what we try to do is we have a massive pipe of new products that we are trying to release out. In fact, in about a month and a half, we'll be releasing a product which is a blueberry muffin tea. That's essentially white tea that induces, white tea layered with flavors of blueberry and the aroma of muffins. It's something we've never seen in the market.
So that's a technology element, I want to come on to it later.
Sure.
But, as I'm reflecting, just in the interest of time, I just want to cover 2 or 3 different areas for the benefit of all. As I'm reflecting at this group, including myself, on the far right, is a 2nd or 3rd generation, and Parag, 4th generation, right? While as Kaushal and me, we are the 1st generation tea side, right? And one thing is very clear, this is for the benefit of the audience, that there's something very exciting happening in the tea market, generally. There's a big awakening, right? I remember going through some, investor reports where Howard Schultz from Starbucks had made the statement that they want to do for tea what they did for coffee 40, 45, 50 years ago, whenever they started, right? Both Kaushal's business and my business, we are venture capital backed, right? While as on the other side, you have Madyanti and of course Wagh Bakri, family run businesses. So the fact that, high growth capital is backing tea as a sector is a testament to the excitement and the bit of an awakening in the whole market, right? And just to give you some context, I came across some Euromonitor report which said that for every 1 cup of coffee, 77 cups of tea is sold, right? And then I came across another report that for every 1 cup of coffee, 21 cups of tea are sold in India. So whatever said, be it 10, 20 or 70, 80 times, the scale of the tea market is very large. There is a big wave as far as health is concerned. People are getting way more conscious as far as the caffeine content is concerned. And hence, especially in India where the palate is geared towards tea or chai, there is a big awakening. And hence you see, businesses from different spectrums, family-run businesses which have been around for decades, some cases more than 100 years, right, to businesses which are less than 5 years old in the case of Kaushal and Kaushal and me. So I just wanted to highlight that part so that you understand that why this is a fascinating area and why people like Kaushal and me are excited to get into this. I mean, I come from a technology background. I know Kaushal was with KPMG, if I'm not wrong, right? So leaving consulting and jumping and becoming very proactively chaiwalas. Why? Because it's a very large, very interesting market, right? And I just want to move on to technology and really kind of talk about it. We are a young country, and I was just briefly listening to the lady from Nature's Basket when she was talking about the mobile in the last session, which is so true. To give you a context, at Chai Point we sell more than close to about 1.5 lakh glasses of chai every day. And the fastest growing business for us is the delivery part of the business, where we deliver chai in a heat retaining use and throw flask. We were the innovators on that. And now I am seeing a trend where roughly 75% of our delivery orders for chai, right, which is not your pizza, which is not your penne pasta or anything exotic, it's chai, 75% of the orders are coming in from mobile and online, right? And we see ourselves not a very fancy beverage, honestly. I mean, the 3 words that we as a business love are ritual, accessibility, and convenience. We want to be a part of the ritual of every Indian, right? And we want to target the white-collar workers. So technology is playing a very central role, even in a business like ours, right? And I just wanted to start with Sumit again, and technology is just not really software, I mean, Sumit was talking about launching a new flavor of tea, which is blueberry muffin. And he was explaining to me behind the scene that there is a big customer of theirs in Finland, and they're a big retail store, and they said they needed a flavor of tea which kind of evokes the aroma of a bakery, if I got you right, right? So they actually worked to build that flavor. Now that is technology when you are really trying to do it. So starting with Sumit and just sort of coming back, I just want to very briefly, just in the interest of time, cover the technology elements, software, as well as product development. And I know Kaushal has a very interesting wine analogy, with infusion of artificial intelligence and neural network-based programming on his site, believe it or not, talking about technology. So Sumit, please.
Thanks, Amalik. So for us, technology is a little different from what might be for Kaushal, right?
Completely agree. Yeah.
For us, it's more soft technology, which is about taste palettes. It's a little bit about science to understand how flavors, aromas can combine and fuse with each other in a stable format, right? So it's a lot of food science that goes into our work.
Sumit, can you be loud? I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of food science that goes into what we do. And the food science is focused solely on solving problems or solving taste requirements for different countries, right? So like we were mentioning, our client in Finland wanted something that induces or creates a desire of people to consume bakery products. And that's a funny request for anyone to make, right? How do you convince or how do you evoke a desire to consume bakery products among a customer who's in your retail outlet? And eventually the solution was that we created a blueberry muffin flavored white tea, which tastes like blueberries, and it induces the flavor. It has the aroma of a muffin. So the minute you walk into the store, you feel like you're in a bakery. When you drink your cup of tea, which is a little exotic, you again smell that baked product around you, and eventually that drives purchase of the bakery item, which was the end result of the entire exercise. Some of the other things we've done is have something called a strawberry cream tea. UK consumes a lot of strawberries, and that is normally consumed with sweet cream. And the idea was, well, how do we bring that taste experience into a cup of tea? Because UK also consumes a lot of tea as a country. And that's how we ended up with strawberry cream. And these are two things we're going to be launching in the next couple of months in the Indian market. So that's technology for us. It's largely working with flavors, fruits, plants to some extent, seeing how they can all be blended, mixed together to deliver a stable product that appeals to the end consumer.
No, I completely appreciate it. I mean, I think I'd blame the media possibly to talk about food tech only in context of delivery and software, while it's the whole food science of developing the right kind of flavors suitable for certain kind of palates and all these things are an integral part of food technology. So, Parag, from your perspective, I know again you were talking about your portal, which has been around for 12 years, and the whole experience around technology for you again, right, and how it relates to the youth. Can you please comment also?
Yeah, so technology, if you look at our experiences, that we started from the days people did not use credit cards to now when everyone uses only credit cards. People want things like cash on delivery. People have migrated from ordering on computers to ordering from their mobile. So we've just relaunched our website buytea.com and made it, I believe, in a very nice mobile-friendly way. At the same time, people are now more pampered. Like every time they order, they want to know if someone has started packing the tea. Every time it hits the courier, they want to know how far the courier is from me. There was a time 2 years back they used to send us emails, call, where is my tea? Because once it's human psychology, once you pay for the tea, you want it there and then. So now everything is online. Also, we have a vertical of the tea lounges. Here, something funny is happening. In India, everyone has moved to the digital space when it comes to interaction, brand loyalty, anything and everything. So we have people who follow us very aggressively on all the digital sites, WhatsApp groups, etc. They want to know that, tomorrow's cricket match, what time, is their friend walking into our tea launch, what is the tea that they want to order, what is the seat they want, everything they do it virtually. They want to be wished on their birthdays. They want us to tell us that, you have not come back in the last month, so we miss you. So they'll come back with all their friends. So my digital team, many times they tell me that, this is all that we are doing. And sometimes I feel that, is this the real world? But unfortunately, that's the real world. People are more online than offline. So we are enjoying it.
Very nice, very nice. Kaushal, I know you've got a lot of interesting stuff to share.
So the way we use technology is really hardcore, something like artificial intelligence. And this is pretty new in the tea industry, but not so much in wine and coffee. What we did is our in-house engineering and product team came out with a so-called algorithm which helps people figure out what kind of teas you would like. So I know most of you know the teas, when we refer to tea, it's actually chai, masala chai, adrak chai, elaichi chai. But say if you come to a site like ours, TBox, you have about 300 plus teas from all over plantations from Nepal, Assam, Darjeeling. And it's very difficult to figure out which tea you would like unless you have been drinking that kind of tea for a long period of time. So we figured discovery is a big problem in this industry. And how can we use technology to solve the discovery problem? We said, let's make it very easy for a user and let's help him figure out what tea he would like. So now you come to our site and all you do is answer some very simple 5 questions in a very interactive way. What kind of chocolates do you like? Dark chocolate, milk chocolate, white chocolate. What kind of fruits, flavors do you like? Based on your response, our algorithm predicts that these are the initial 2 to 3 teas you're going to like. We send you those teas in a beautiful curated box. You try those teas, then you give us a feedback, which again goes back to the engine. Now we have a better idea what kind of teas you would like. Because for example, if someone liked 2 teas, but did not like the 3rd tea, and we also have data of thousands of other customers who might have liked similar teas, but didn't like the 3rd tea. So we have a better idea what's the next set of teas we should send you in a box. Between the 3rd and the 6th box, we have so far achieved 95% guaranteed satisfaction, what we call, which means 95% of the times we send you the teas after the 3rd box, you're going to like. Interestingly, we have also applied for a patent as well. So when I explain this, how we are using technology to my friends in tea, they actually don't get it. But it's a very innovative use of figuring how people's palate can be defined using artificial intelligence and using really hardcore technology. And that's some of the work which me and my team have been working on.
Really appreciate it. So in this group, as you'll notice, it is Parag, really from Wagh Bakri, and me, who are sort of much more closer towards the customer. Parag through the Wagh Bakri lounges and through our stores and delivery model, while as TBox and Madyanti, they're sort of at the back. But the infusion of technology is at both ends. I mean, briefly talking about technology at our end. So, and there, I can also see that the Bangalore guys are sort of more passionate about technology and somehow will bring technology into any part of the business. But for us, really, at Chai Point, as I said, availability and convenience, or accessibility and convenience, we use the word interchangeably, very, very important. We realize that so long as a glass of chai is within an arm's reach, it will sell. People will pick it up, right? So how do you make sure that it is everywhere, right? So towards that, really, I mean, we are amazed at the impact of technology. We have 60 electric scooters of our own, which we use for delivery. We have tied up with all the leading top delivery startups who do deliveries on our behalf. I said 75% of our orders are coming online. We took a call 3 years ago that we will not buy market point of sale software. We'll build our own POS. We have built our own cloud-based POS, our own cloud-based supply chain software, our own delivery management platform, and obviously our own apps. And that has given us tremendous kind of agility. If somebody is ordering chai from us on a certain regular basis, we get to know after 6 or 7 transactions, the frequency or the time at which that order is going to come in. We have now started realizing that at many of the stores, customers don't come because they see long queues. So we are in the process of rolling out a queue buster solution where they can prepay the order, and instead of staying and standing in the cashier line, they can go straight on to the section where they can just pick up the beverage of glass and move on. We have machines at corporates, and that's a big part, an exciting part of the business, dispensers which make authentic chai. We are seeing how to make those machines intelligent and communicate back to the supply chain office, back to the warehouse on their consumption. So there are some places where chai is being prepared to the tune of 600, 700 liters a day. Some cases touching 1,000 liters a day, right? How do you make the warehouse team and the supply chain team know on a spread out basis how much of raw materials, how much of tea, how much of milk should be ordered there so that the corporate can have access to chai, right? Same for all our stores, right? If there is a sudden spurt of demand. So the connectivity of the software to ensure that a simple beverage like chai is accessible always in a convenient fashion means a lot of technology. So technology really cutting across the spectrum. The last part, and then I'll open up for Q&A, is around the brand purpose. And I want to start here with Wagh Bakri and with Parag really. I mean, I was sharing that iconic brand really. I know the passion that some of the people have, especially when they go abroad, right, around Wagh Bakri, right? So brand and purpose, we also as a startup realize is something which is key for the customer today, for the consumer today. The young, upwardly mobile who are always connected, they want to know what the brand stands for. They want to know the story behind the brand. They want to know why they are consuming something or why they are aligning with a certain category, and especially an intimate category like tea or chai. So, Parag, can you share some thoughts here and, kind of educate us on how you feel about this thing?
No, a subject like tea always, is relevant internationally and both nationally. As all are aware, the brand was born in pre-independence era. Wagh Bakri, in simple words, means the tiger, which is the strongest animal on the jungle, and the goat, which is the weakest in the clan. They both share the same cup of tea and they become friends. All of you must have read today's papers wherein there is new data before the Davos conference that 67 people in the world are richer than rest of the world. There has not been more income disparity ever in the world.
Absolutely.
Every country that we launched in the last 20 years, we were told that, change the brand name. People will not be able to pronounce the name. People will not understand, it will be too expensive for you to tell the story of the name, behind the name, to the common people. But all the consultants, thank God, have been wrong. If you go to the Middle East, if you go to the US, UK, Australia, people buy the tea for two reasons. Number one, the philosophy of the brand, which is, you can be friends over a cup of tea, irrespective of your standing in the society or the amount of wealth that you have. And number two is the quality of the tea itself. A lot of people tend to put so much focus on technology. I have nothing against Bangalore people, but that they tend to say that, okay, we have all the technology, now everyone's going to drink our product or use our brand, which you can see in all the e-commerce things that are happening. At the end of the day, the customer is buying because of the quality, not because of the price or anything else. And we believe that, there is, even though we are the most expensive brand in most markets that we operate in, within India, overseas, people come back to us because they believe in our product, in our quality, in our philosophy. So I think, branding and the quality is so important in the FMCG sector that everything else is like a wish list, but this is like a must-have.
No, that's really fascinating. I mean, we at Chai Point also recently commissioned an internal study for our benefit. We covered some 5 cities, and we very intimately interacted with, a lot of our customers and, coffee customers. And we realized that today's customer is a very confident customer. They are not going to adopt a brand just because the brand is trying to sound Westernish or is looking Westernish. I mean, there is the confident Indian category is a big majority. I mean, people are way more proud of products like Fab India than they would be touting some, some international high-end luxury brand. So the point I'm saying is that authenticity, especially around a category like chai is hugely important. And this is a product category which leads by quality and by consistency. And I really find this, this mentioned by Parag very fascinating, that they stuck to the name and they still continue to resonate with that. Quick comment on brand, especially from you, Kaushal. I mean, considering that, TBox is essentially, you supply, I heard you saying, to 93 countries. You are a very, very global business, right? So imagine Indian teas going to 93 countries, right? What is, very briefly, and then I'll come on to Sumit and then we'll open up for Q&A. What is your learning around brand and purpose? What is the customer looking for?
So what I would say is I would agree with what of the other panelists are saying. At the end of the day, authenticity is very important. But what we are also seeing in some of the developed countries is a very important and interesting shift. People, at the end of the day, are very conscious about what they put in their bodies. They want full, transparent information, and there's a huge movement going on in countries like the US. Brands like Chipotle, brands like Panera Bread, which are riding on this wave. Because at the end of the day, a consumer today wants to know whether he's taking a product which is free from any chemical, fertilizer, pesticide. He wants to know whether this product is good for his consumption, whether the product is expired. And that philosophy we have taken to the brand itself. So when anyone comes to TBox and he or she is buying any tea, we give complete transparent information, including to the fact that what was the day this product or this particular batch of tea was plucked, which day it was processed, what's the batch number, which plantation does it come from, what certifications does the plantation have, what's the story, what's the uniqueness about that plantation, so that the customer really makes a conscious decision, because transparent, reliable information is very clearly presented to him. And TBox, at the end of the day, we are selling a very old school product. We are very much selling loose leaf teas. We expect people to brew this at their home, at their offices. So in some sort of way, giving a modern twist by redefining the supply chain, by giving accessibility to high-end teas direct from sources. And what we really are working on is redefining traditions. We are saying that don't do away with your tradition, but there is a new way for you to work on your traditions, which is to a certain extent tea drinking. And you redefine it by getting direct access to the source, transparent, full information about the product.
Sumit, comments from you on this subject?
Something that's very present for all three of you is quality, and I cannot emphasize enough. I completely agree. Indian consumers, because at least for us, because they're consuming teas for a healthier, better life, quality, naturalness, organic, these are some of the things we built into our brand ethos. But what's the added layer that we've done for our brand is because our positioning is a tea for every me, which brought a lot of challenges 2 years later, because when the me evolves, when the me of 2 years ago has now evolved because of whatever life experiences, etc., has evolved moving forward, I still as a brand have to be able to cater to that proposition of the me. And that's what we are doing now. So we are really constantly developing new flavors, new products, to look at how people's taste palates, choices, experiences, how are all this changing, how they want to consume their beverage, and then still be able to provide that. And that's for us is how we can be true to our brand. So while natural ingredients, no artificial flavor, these are some things that are a part of our brand ethos. But for us, a larger part is to be able to constantly deliver what the new me wants in the cup of tea.
No, this is very important, and just to quickly share from our side. So, one thing that we learned after being there now in 5 cities, though primarily we are big in Bangalore and Gurgaon for now. Number one product category within chai that sells in India is ginger chai. Frankly, before I got into tea, I never thought that I would, I would be talking about adrak chai and ginger chai in such a way, but that is obviously the king of beverages in the chai category. Any part of India that you go, north, east, west, south, central part of India, it's ginger chai which sells. Now, when we started, and as I said, I don't really come from this background, there was this temptation to easen out supply chain and solve the so-called consistency issue by going in for flavors, even if they are tagged as natural or, or something similar to that. But then we took a call as a team that we are not going to go after that. We said we're going to have an actual supply chain of ginger, an actual supply chain of lemons going to all our stores. Now we take close to about 7 tons of ginger a month, similar 6 to 7 tons of lemons, which go every day to the store. And we are so thankful that this part of the tea business, which is aligning 100% with the natural, is turning out to be an absolute differentiator for the good brands. And the customers are getting discerning whether what is the level of authenticity as far as the ingredients of the brand are concerned. And again, it's becoming a matter of really brand distinction and brand purpose. So I think now I'll just open up this session for questions and possibly go back again if we have time.
I want to show a couple of slides.
Please.
One of the things that we are discussing is how to change the image of tea, but there is no free lunch. So what I want to show is that our vertical, which we are very passionate and we are expanding very fast, is the tea lounge vertical. And it competes directly with the online buytea.com, because there is an equal number of people who don't want to go out, and there's an equal number of people who always want to go out, Right. So what I want to basically show is that the ambience has to be very upmarket, very hip, very happening. You can't say that, I am an heritage brand, so buy me. People want to, look at cutting edge, look at, the best location. Very recently, we inaugurated our tea lounge in Connaught Place. Before that, we opened in GK1, because our customers tell that, hey, look, GK1 is the shopping capital of India. Anyone with a wedding will go to GK1. So I want good tea over there. So I initially, thought it otherwise. Why pay so much rent? I didn't know that, people drink so much tea. But the proposal broke even in the 3rd month itself. Connaught Place is like the center of Delhi. A lot of my customers come and tell that, that's some shots. This is Mumbai in BDB and Vile Parle near the airport. And Connaught Place happened because people from across Delhi NCR said that, we come to CP, all the trains end at CP, we change trains, we want good tea over there. So we started at Lajpat Nagar, GK1, and Connaught Place. And, we invite friends and family to inaugurate it, again, who are top class in their fields. So here is Ustad Ji Amjad Ali Khan with his family coming and inaugurating it. So nowhere, we can deviate from, the ambience or the company that we keep. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, please.
Okay, could you wait till the mic is passed so that everyone can hear you? We'll just pass your microphone and speak into the
Hi,
mic.
good evening, guys.
Hi.
I don't actually have a question, I just have a comment. I've been following the Chai Point journey for a while. Parag, you and Sumit, our families know each other. We're from the tea business as well. And it's my job to taste all your teas. So I can definitely say that, you guys are top of the game. But it's amazing to see 4th generation people in the business as well go up there and try to do what you guys are doing. So it just validates what we are trying to do. We are also a 100-year business. We are market leaders in the city. So it's great to see you guys up here as well. We're from Society Tea, and congratulations on everything you've done.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Yes, I've seen your Twitter account.
You are.
Yes, please.
I am recommending to make sugar-free tea or coffee, especially for diabetes patient, or weight reduce, cholesterol, everything. It is possible or not?
Very valid point. So I'll just repeat the question for the benefit of all. He said whether we can sugar-free chai and
Coffee, cold
and
drinks. Also coffee and cold drink also.
And cold drinks also. So he's basically focusing on the sugar-free, ready beverages, right, Parag?
So 3 years back, we started work on this project. We have a product called instant teas. And there's a lot of sugar in all the instant products that we eat. So a lot of my customers came and said that, look, 1/3 of India has diabetes. And out of that, 2/3 people don't know that they have diabetes. And the 1/3 that they, who know that they have diabetes will put 2 spoons of sugar because at home they don't have sugar. So can you make us something? So it took us 2 years, and we have our own R&D lab and our own scientists. And we have launched our instant tea, which is with no added sugar. It's doing very well, but still the awareness level of people of, you know, who we sell a lot to the diaspora which goes overseas. We sell a lot to people who are health conscious. But unfortunately, most of the people, they have a sweet tooth. For example, you know, in our lounges, we have a health food menu and a sweet food menu. And every day the sweet food sells 10 times more than the health food, you know. So people love to have their cakes with the teas, etc.
No, I can vouch for that also. Yeah, please.
हर एक घर में हिंदी में बात करता हूँ.
हाँ, please.
हर एक घर में हर फैमिली में 4 से 5 आदमी रहते हैं. हस्बैंड वाइफ 2-3 बच्चे. तो उसमें से एक डायबिटीज, एक बीपी, एक ओवरवेट, एक किडनी, सब डिजीज से परेशान होते हैं. और यहाँ जितनी भी प्रोडक्ट है ना, ऑल शुगर इंक्लूडेड, नॉट शुगर फ्री प्रोडक्ट्स.
नहीं, आपका पॉइंट बिल्कुल वैलिड है.
इससे एलडीएल, एचडीएल, कोलेस्ट्रॉल, एवरीथिंग विल कंट्रोल.
हमारे
ट्राई
business-
टू पॉसिबल.
नहीं, हमारे बिजनेस के हिसाब से आई कैन ऑल्सो शेयर फ्रॉम अ चाय पॉइंट परस्पेक्टिव. रिचुअल वर्ड हमारे लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है. यू नो, लोगों को आदत हो जाती है, लोग एक ही टाइम पे चाय पीने आते हैं फिर. और क्या होता है कि लोगों के टाइम काफ़ी बार अलाइन करते हैं शाम को, तो जो स्टोर्स हैं उनमें बहुत ज़्यादा रश हो जाता है, पीक आवर्स होते हैं. एंड चाय पे, दैट्स द अदर हॉलमार्क अबाउट टी एज अ कैटेगरी, that people have very little patience to wait for tea. It's quite a distinction from coffee. Coffee, you sort of tuned that you'll order and you'll sit and it'll come in about 5-10 minutes. Even if you go to a high-end shop, अगर आप बड़ी दुकान में जाएं, छोटी दुकान में जाएं, आपको चाय उसी के वक्त चाहिए. अब होता ये है कि जब वास्ट मेजॉरिटी शुगर के साथ लेना चाहते हैं, जैसे पराग कह रहे थे कि यू नो लोगों को मीठा चाहिए. इंडिया में मीठे के बगैर फ्रैंकली बिजनेस नहीं चलता. लेकिन उस टाइम पे अगर कोई शुगर फ्री मानने वाला आ जाए तो जो स्टोर्स हैं उनका फ्लो स्टॉप हो जाता है, बिल्कुल डिसरप्ट हो जाता है. सो ये आई एम जस्ट शेयरिंग एन ऑपरेशनल चैलेंज. सो आवर गोल इज टू हैव एवरी वेरिएंट इन शुगर फ्री, बट वी आर फाइंडिंग इट वेरी टफ, स्पेशली ड्यूरिंग दोज पीक आवर्स. सो व्हाट वी हैव डन इज कि 1, 2, 3 कुछ वेरिएंट रखो और कुछ नहीं रखो. एंड एज Parag is saying, there are on the instant side there are actually making products which are sugar free. Sumit, do you want to say something on
I
that?
just wanted to add one thing. In the market, something we are working on is, and we've looked at this for a couple of years, is while we are working on sugar free or no sugar, which is actually asking them to change their taste requirement. That's very difficult to come across.
Very difficult.
Right? Especially with tea, it's impossible. So we are working on trying to use natural sugar, which is stevia leaves.
Stevia leaves.
Thankfully, it's now allowed by the government. It was banned for a couple of years, and now they've done some R&D. And
Is it officially allowed?
officially, yeah, you can use it. So that's what we're working on, right? So try pushing stevia leaves, because we believe that you can't really ask the consumer to not have sugar in their tea. I mean, if they could do it, they would do it.
Completely.
Right? It's already done by now. So yeah, that's the input I have.
Well, thank you so much, guys. I think there's another question. I think the last question, please. हाँ जी.
सर, मैं इनका अपना जो वाघ बकरी यहाँ लॉन्च किया है उनके लिए मैं उनको मुबारकबादी देना चाहूँगा, क्योंकि ये मेरे गांव की, हम गुजराती है और काठियावाड़ी है, समझा ना, और हम उनका स्वागत करते हैं और हमें बड़ी खुशी हो रही है. जब बस में जाते थे और वहाँ गांव में तो कहाँ शुगर फ्री, वो 2-3 चम्मच डाल के पीते हैं. और मैं शायद पढ़े लिखे लोग हैं, मैं बोलना चाहूँगा कि सब अच्छे पढ़े लिखे लोग जानते होंगे कि शुगर हमारे शरीर में 3 टाइम कम होती है. लो लेवल, एक सुबह 10 बजे, 11 बजे, 1, 2, 3 बजे और शाम को 5, 6 बजे. उस टाइम पे आप चाय पी लेते हो तो आपकी शुगर पूरी हो जाएगी.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you so much.
मार्क करें. और ये ज़रूरी है, शुगर आपको चाहिए चाहिए चाहिए. वो नेचुरल होना चाहिए। जैसे कि भाई आपका शरीर में शुगर नहीं है तो आपका शरीर चलेगा नहीं। शुगर कम हो गया कोमा में चले जाएगा। शुगर जिसका कम होता है वो कोमा में जाता है। 50 के नीचे गया वो कोमा में गया, 30 के तो चले जाएगा। तो शुगर तो चाहिए, और है इन्हें ज़्यादा नहीं कि इंसान जो बहुत ज़्यादा लेता हो तो मुनासिब नहीं है, मगर उसके हिसाब से तो बहुत ज़रूरी है। हम लोग डॉक्टर बोलते हैं कि शुगर कम हो गई तो एक अपना रोटी खा लो तो शुगर कवर होती है, खाना थोड़ा थोड़ा खा लो। तो ये है, तो शुगर चाहिए, ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है, थोड़ा हिसाब से चलना चाहिए। और क्योंकि और चाय जो है वो शुगर बिगर चले ही नहीं सर। शुगर के बिगर चाय का टेस्ट ही नहीं है। मेरे साथ में डायबिटीज़ वाले आते हैं, वो शुगर वाला हम पीते हैं, वो उनका तो बेचारे को तकलीफ होती है कि वो अलग ही उनका बनाना पड़ता है। ये डिफ़िकल्टी बहुत है। हम एक घर में शायद हो सकता है, मगर बाहर के लिए जो टपरी वाले बोलो और किधर भी बोलो तो उतना डिले हो जाता है, लेट होता है। और मैं ये इनका अपना जो वाघ बकरी जो लॉन्च हुआ है उनके लिए मैं बहुत 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 ही इन्हें अपने तहे दिल से अंतकरण से चाहता हूँ कि और भी कामयाब हो जावे। और मैं उनको सलाम
With your blessings.
थैंक यू।
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this Chai Pe Charcha has gone up very, very well. And we'd like to say thank you to Kaushal Dugar, Parag Desai, Sumit Shah, and Amulik Singh Bijral. Thank you so much. Put your hands together for our panel.